Well, good evening everyone, and welcome to us at WildEarth here at the camp around the fire. As you can see, a little bit smoky. We're actually trying to sort it out a little bit, but sometimes fires smoke a bit more than you'd like them to. Once again, very welcome. Rexon is joining around the fire as well tonight, and we're going to discuss one or two questions and just talk about a few things as well. Rexon, you want to say hello?
Hi everyone, around the fire. It's very nice this afternoon. As Peter said, it's a little bit of smoke, but really we're really enjoying here. We have a few questions that Peter is going to read through, and we're really going to try to answer that.
I think we're going to get to one or two questions just now, but just first of all, just as a general thing, it's interesting to see the kind of questions that are coming through, and also we'll obviously let people know more in advance and encourage them to send more questions. But just in interest as well for future questions, it's fire@wildearth.tv. And it's an interesting space that's developing. I mean, physically sitting around a fire is obviously a fantastic place, but it also gives us the opportunity to talk a little bit about, how's it, Marco? Marco is running around between the control center and behind the camera as well. He's behind the camera tonight. But it's an interesting space for us to just start practicing and seeing how to discuss different things, whether it's wildlife questions or wild earth questions specifically about camp life or about the animals and the characters. Obviously, you know, as you would probably have guessed, one of the questions tonight is about the mapojos. There's obviously big characters that we're very interested in, but also just over time hopefully we'll discuss a variety of things. First thing, I'm going to quickly it's quite a short question with a relatively short answer. I was going to sort the smoke out, but it seems it's decided to turn away for now. It's a question from Phil and from Jill in the UK, and they're asking about what kind of fish are in these waterholes. Everything from, I presume they're referring more to the bigger waterholes. The pan at the moment, probably nothing in it, but Buffelshoek Dam, Treehouse Dam, and just generally these kind of waterholes. Rexon has also worked in various parts in the Sabi Sands in the general vicinity, so he's been around some bigger dams and some of the rivers even. But from my personal experience, Jill, one of the questions or one of the parts you mentioned, you and Phil, is that presumably catfish. Obviously there are some catfish in there. I've fished with Nick a few times and also with some of the staff. When Gowrie Waterhole got very low and muddy once, we actually fished them with baskets. So catfish, certainly, tilapia. Rexon, I'm sure you caught some fish as well, growing up and later on.
Yes, indeed I have done that. There's quite a few things that might be in water too. Also, this afternoon we have enjoyed terrapin. It's quite a lot of small creatures that are living there in general.
That was a big terrapin.
Big terrapin, yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest ones I've seen.
Yeah. It's nice fish. I mean, it's good fish that might be living in there too.
Fishing is interesting.
Yes, very interesting. I really like it. I mean, more especially if you can be on a big water hole like Buffelshoek, if it's full. I mean, in summer, quite a lot of shade. You're sitting on a shade of fishing. It's quite nice.
Yeah, I think that's where the question also came from, both Phil and Jill, saying that they're quite avid fishermen or anglers. And I'm actually just trying to think what other things going on. I mean, obviously there's tilapia is the main fish species that you would get in here. And again, there might be one or two basic kinds of tilapia, which is just a typical sort of little grey fish. When you think of a fish that looks like that, nothing weird or funny looking. Catfish or what we call barbel. Here's the smoke again. What we refer to as barbel, most of you, I presume, out there are familiar with what they look like. Those that aren't, they're typically bottom feeders, so they've got these long sort of tentacles, and they use that to feel around the bottom in the mud, and they eat debris and dead things and so on. But also, Marco, was it with you the other night? They had an awesome sighting when the buffalo or the ellies. Buffalo. Rexon, you'd have enjoyed this, huh?
Yeah.
There were. Did you see that?
No, I was not here.
Yeah, but you heard about it.
No, I haven't heard. It's my first time.
But there were lots of buffalo that came to drink, but you know, that whole big herd, so they obviously churned up the mud and all kinds of things. And there was a lot of debris and floating things on the top, and obviously the buffalo as well, being in the water, all the flies and things coming from them. They were just, Marco, how many? 10, 20, 30? Lots, sir. Yeah, 30, 40 catfish just coming up on the surface and just catching little things on the surface. So, yeah, maybe go look for that. I'm sure that might be some on YouTube still. For Phil and Jill if you want to have a look. Next question. This one is from Dawn Whitefoot, and it regards buffalo horns. It's a question that pops up every now and again, so we thought we'll talk about it a little bit more also with the behind the scenes Marco and them the other day went and weighed some of these buffalo horns to get an idea of what they weigh. But basically, Dawn's question is, what do these buffalo horns consist of? What is it physically made of? And if they do break, how does that influence the animal? Are they going to really suffer? Are they going to survive fine? Specifically, she's referring to the judge, again, another character that we're all quite familiar with. And also asking why it's got all those pock marks in it. Now, I'm going to just jump into it, and then Rexon will give his take on it as well. But the first part of your question, Dawn, essentially, the horns are made of keratin, which is exactly the same as our fingernails. For that matter, exactly the same as a rhino horn. So it's very, very hard hair, essentially, if you really break it down to what it's made of. It's the same as hair like this, same as fingernails. Keratin with buffaloes, obviously, is just something that's, again, over time grown much heavier, much harder, and that's also why you get those pock marks. You can imagine if our fingernails were about that thick, and we rub them up against tree bark and branches and things all the time, then eventually they would get some marks in them. But in terms of how they survive, Rex, and I'm sure you've also seen lots of different buffalo with funny horns.
Except Judge, I've seen, buffalo with fat horns. In general, they survive. Life is very good. I've seen it fighting with pride of lions, and he survived with fat horns.
No horns?
No horns at all. He survived. Because really, the only fact is, for the animals like buffalo, is to be like confident on what they're doing. The lion can see he's healthy, he's strong. The horn comes so close. It can survive easy. It won't really influence the animal itself. Like Judge, he's been here around. He's got a lot of mapokos. Hunting around there, killing buffalo, but Judge is still surviving. I heard you guys have cited Judge about a week ago, if I believe. Yeah. So it's one of interesting buffalo that hangs around in the area where it's got a lot of high density of lions, but he's still making it.
Yeah, well, he doesn't. I think just looking at him, you wouldn't want to mess with him. I'll look at him, I think, some space. Actually, speaking of the Judge, the buffalo that we're all familiar with, Nixon, how long has the buffalo, has Judge been around? Have you seen him for long?
It's been here for long. I believe while I was guiding from Galago, Judge was around the area. My first time seeing Judge, it was around, Peter knows the area well, 3 in a row in Befesu. Yeah, it's my first time seeing him north of here. So, earlier like 2005, somewhere there, I believe, yeah.